Seth David here from the world famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated, bringing to you another special screencast. This time I want to show you how to create the perfect everything view in ClickUp. Now, real quick, before we cut to my screen, what am I talking about here? So if you're like me, you manage a lot of different projects for a lot of different things. I have accounting clients, I have process and workflow design clients, people who've hired me to build things in Airtable or ClickUp itself, and so on and so forth. So I have lots of different projects, lots of different kinds of projects. It'd be impossible to keep them all in one place, and yet I want a good bird's eye view of what do I need to focus on today. I want something to help reduce stress and enable me to very quickly and easily manage it day to day. What do I need to focus on today? What can wait till tomorrow or some other day soon, right? And so I've shown videos of what I had developed as a concept for this called my everything board, but one of the problems is that that board was disconnected from everything else in every other project in ClickUp. I really wanted something that actually was tapping into what's there in the everything, in other words, right to the source of where that project is managed. And so I've come up with something that I think is pretty slick and at the same time very easy to manage. It might require a little bit of work up front to get things organized and cleaned up. It did for me, but now that I've got it organized and cleaned up, it's very, very easy to manage. 5 minutes a day, maybe 10 each morning, just kind of doing a quick bit of catch up on it. And then I've got it all laid out exactly what to do and exactly how to prioritize what needs to be done today versus the things I'd like to get done today that also can wait. They don't absolutely have to, right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about capturing information about what needs to get done, clarifying what does it mean to me, when does it really need to get done, and organizing it, right? Putting it in its proper place. Let's take a look at my screen, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see, one kind of project I manage are the very articles and videos that I do on subjects just like this. So I'm here in ClickUp. Let me close this. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click here on the home icon. Now, the home icon in and of itself could be used in the way that I'm talking about, and I know a lot of people do. I just need something that gives me a little bit more visibility, and I can add some of the top things from today up into the lineup. But I needed something a little bigger, a little, again, with a little more visibility. So first things first, what you have to do, what I had to do the first time going into this screen is clean up all the stuff. I had hundreds and hundreds of things, right? The unscheduled ones, for example, are things that really don't have a due date and don't need one. They're things like when I schedule my 97 and up calls, those are tasks. I was using due dates and it was making a mess of these other areas. So instead I created a custom date-based field to manage that stuff. So anything that didn't truly need to act like a due date, I moved over into a custom field so that I could keep this area nice and clean because this area is driven by due dates. And each day now, you can see what I've got to do is come in. I've got 8 overdue tasks and 19 in today. So the first thing I do every day before I get into the customized view that I want to show you is clean up this part. So we're going to go into overdue, and I'm very quickly going to just assign these. I can easily move them all into today, but as I look at them, I might decide that some of these things really don't need to get done right away today. So we're going to take this one and put it in today. This one I'm going to put in today because it's something super quick. I just need to place an order. We'll put this one into today because I'd like to get it done today, although it's not the end of the world if I don't. Okay. This is kind of in that same category, so I'll stick it in there for now. And same with this. This can actually wait till tomorrow, so let's move it till tomorrow because I feel like I've already got enough in the today pile. And this is something I'm definitely going to do probably first thing tomorrow morning. And finally, this is something that I probably don't need to look at until like Friday, right? So we're just going to change that. So now there's nothing in overdue. There's stuff in today, and then next is the upcoming stuff, and then I've got a bunch of unscheduled stuff because none of that stuff needs to get done. It's just reference information, basically. So now we're going to go into today, and you can see I've got 24 tasks. But, at this point, I want a little, like I said, bigger view that'll help me organize and manage this information a little bit more easily. So let's click into the tasks area here. And then we're going to click right up here where it says everything. Okay, and I'm going to go away from the view that I want to teach you how to create. So, yours might look something like this. And initially, you are seeing, as this suggests, as you might expect when you click on something that says everything, you are seeing absolutely everything that's in ClickUp, no matter what space, folder, list, wherever it lives, this is everything. So I need a view that helps me focus on this a little bit better. So we're going to click View here, and I'm going to create a table view. And I'll click Add View. Now again, this is still everything. So what we want to do, the first thing I want to do now is go into the filters and filter it for where the due date is today. Okay, and I'm going to turn on Auto Save View for now. Okay, the next thing I started to do was look at how can I group this stuff, right? So grouping it by status is probably going to get clunky because all this stuff lives in different spaces which have different statuses. So it may not be that helpful for me to do that. In fact, what I did was I added a column. I created a custom label-based field, okay? And I called it entity. You can call it whatever you want. And there it is. When I search, it comes up entity. And I'll click away, and here it is. And I can drag it over here so I can see it. Okay, and as you can see, I created this label-based field. Let me edit the field so you can see how this comes together. Okay, when you go to create a new custom field, you'll choose label as the type, and you'll create your choices. And you can create them on the fly. So I started off calling it entity because I was thinking I would name it based on the client. Now this might seem redundant because if I expand my accounting and consulting area, each client has their own folder, but this serves a different purpose. And first of all, I don't need every client in here. I only need the ones that I'm focused on right now. But also you can see I started creating things like courses, so tasks having to do with courses that I need to do. And then there's specific clients, and then there's community stuff like my new Seth Works community. I wanted to, take some time to focus on that a little bit today. And then of course there's general content. So not courses, but like the free content, like videos like this that I want to work on, right? In fact, this is this very task that I'm working on at this moment. And you can add things on the fly in order to focus, or in order to be able to add new things that you'd want to track this way. Now this makes sense to group by. Okay, so under group by we'll go to custom field. There's entity. And I'm going to close this up so we can focus a little bit better. And now you can see how nicely this starts to take shape, and it's not overwhelming. It's not a ton of stuff. And so basically I go back and forth between grouping it by entity and then grouping it by priority. So I've already got this chiseled down to just the stuff that I've assigned with the due date of today. So let's change the grouping to priority. Because now what I want to do is focus on, the highest priority. The red is the stuff I'm absolutely, no question, I want to get that done today. Everything else can go to, high priority or normal. I just want to get, this is how I start clarifying. What do I really need to focus on first? And then as time allows, I can pick things out of the high category and move them to urgent, right? It's a workflow, right? So this is what I'm doing right now. This is a general task I've created called top priorities, where I've written a little bit of a journal, so to speak, reminding myself of where my big picture focus needs to be. This will stay here. Let's say these I can do, later or tomorrow if need be. So I'm going to move those to high priority instead of urgent, right? And so you see what's happening now, of course. Things are moving, and it's giving me the ability to de-stress, to be able to focus on what's really important. What do I really need to do right now? And then, again, I can start, as I reorganize things based on priority, I can change things. I can say, okay, let's go back to looking at this by entity, right? And now I see each entity, but I can see the priority. And while I'm at it, I can group this by entity, and I can add one more filter where the priority is urgent, right? And so this I might rename to something like, well, what I called it here, everything now. So this is everything I want to do right now, meaning this is the high priority stuff, right? And if you want to rename your view in this drop down, click the ellipsis and click the little editor pencil looking icon. And as you can see from the hover tip, it's to rename it, right? So this, my friends, is how I've begun to create a view that taps into everything all over the place in ClickUp, but brings it into one easy to manage, concise view that lets me clarify, organize, and get focused on the things that I need to focus on today, so I don't have to get stressed out about it, and I can see very clearly what I want to get done today versus what can really wait. And that, my friends, is how, in my experience, you can reduce stress, and reducing stress is the #1 name of the game here, because if we're stressed out, we're not focused, and if we're not focused, we're not working to our maximum potential. As always, I hope you learned something here. Hope you had some fun along the way. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. If you like what you see here, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please leave your comments below. Let me know that you liked it, and if you have questions, definitely leave your comments below. Ask me your questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them as quickly as I can.